Hi guys, it's your boy the H once again talking those comics, the sports and the wrestling. Let's talk about the third of those three right now, wrestling. So yesterday I went to the Progress chapter 95 and it was called Still Chasing. Basically I went with my little brother. I'm going to go through the matches and give you a quick rating of all the matches. Dave Meltzer style. If you're not a Dave Meltzer fan, I apologise. No, I really don't. If you're not a Dave Meltzer fan, I would say he's been in the game 40 years. Is all his stories at all the time perfect? Obviously not. He made a mistake literally the other day. Said Luke Harper probably won't come back, but he probably will be. Apologies for that. There was just a worker coming into the room, but that's all right. Don't worry about that. But basically, it's one of those ones where Luke Harper did actually come back, even though Dave Meltzer said that he wouldn't. By the way, I'm not going to edit that little thing out because I thought that was quite amusing, and you could see the realization on my face when I saw the worker, like, oh, there's a worker coming in. Anyway, let's get straight into it. So me and my brother missed the pre-show. I have no idea who was on the pre-show. I'm not going to Google it or look it up because I'm pretty sure that the pre-show is not part of the actual Progress continuity. So apologies if you were on the pre-show and you might see this. Anyway, let's get straight into it. So the first match, I believe, please bear with me because it was a very long day and we have to go into London, out of London, loads of buses, loads of tubes, and it's not exactly the easiest place to travel to, which amuses me because a lot of people think London's really easy to get to and it's an amazing place for transport. It's like, nah guys, it's pretty complex, and when you've got to get different trains, buses, taxis, lifts and everything and drive yourself as well, it's like, it's quite stressful. Anyway, back onto it. So I'm pretty sure, bear with me, but the first match was the Grizzly Young Veterans, James Drake and Zach Gibson, versus, it was meant to be them versus Aussie Open, but what happened was the night before there was a thing called the Natural Progression Series. The Natural Progression Series is a tournament with 8 different new youngsters. I'm not going to go through all of them, but the best ones were OJMO, Gene Money, Cara Noir and Scotty Davis. Scotty Davis went into the final, faced a guy called Duggan. Duggan's not technically really adept at all. He hasn't got much charisma either, but it's funny because that actually helped later on in tonight's show. But anyway, so Scotty Davis won the Natural Progression Series the night before, which would have been the Saturday, and this was yesterday, which was Sunday. So by winning the Natural Progression Series, it means Scotty Davis can have a title shot, which he wants to and which he chooses. So what happened was, literally as the match was starting between Aussie Open and Grizzled Young Veterans, Scotty Davis comes out and says, I'm cashing in my Natural Progression contract right now, and my partner is this guy. His partner comes out, it's the Ace, Jordan Devlin. This was probably one of the best matches, if not second or third best match of the night, depending on how you see it. Scotty Davis and Jordan Devlin did win in the end. I believe they pinned Aussie Open, but I can't really remember. There was a lot of things going on. Exciting match, pretty good, pretty technical. Some really good tandem offense from Scotty Davis and Jordan Devlin. Jordan Devlin actually trained Scotty Davis, which is probably why the tandem offense was so good. Aussie Open's Carl Fletcher looked really good. High flyer, quite good and technical as well. He had a little bit of a technical showcase for Jordan Devlin, who he previously had wrestled in the Progress Super Strong 16. I think it's quarterfinal stage earlier this year, which I did manage to attend. Duncan Taylor Davis, his partner, isn't so good. He's a big guy though, so here's what it is. So after that match, Pete Dunne came out for his open challenge. His challenge was answered by the Black Swan, Cara Noir. Cara Noir's entrance is amazing, guys. If you haven't heard of Cara Noir, I implore you to check out his Twitter, check out his YouTube, check out his Instagram. He's known to be skilled in dance. I'm assuming he's skilled in some kind of ballet as well. Very flexible gentleman, really good in rings. The first time I got to see him live, my brother actually mentioned him years ago because he trained down London for a bit, and then he trained with a lot of big guys who are now stars. And he said Cara Noir is something else, and he really is. Got a picture with Cara Noir. So go check out my Twitter if you follow me on Twitter, @HChatsBack, if you're interested in that, guys. But I've got a picture of him, the Black Swan, really great entrance. In the entrance, he puts his arms aloft, you can't really see, his arms spread like this, and he has these 2 massive wings. He covers himself like this, and he opens it up. Does that a few times to, it's some kind of symphony, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's very beautiful, very interesting, and very captivating. So yeah, great entrance. He had a really good technical match with Pete Dunne. For me, the best one-on-one match of the night by far. there wasn't really many one-on-one matches, but yeah, really good match for me. 4.5 out of 5 stars. There is just not, I'm not giving it a 5-star. Just for fairness, to be honest, if I give it 5-star, then I've got to grade it on a curve, but it's at least 4.5. Amazing match. Pete Dunne won with his like package kind of pole driver thingy. No, he didn't actually win. Tell a lie. Conor kicked out of that. I mean, he won with a submission move. It was like a kind of rear naked chokehold, I believe. But yeah, it wasn't a brutalizer. Anyway, so Pete Dunne won that. But then it was the next match, which was Mustache Mountain, which is Trent Seven and Tyler Bate versus Keith Lee and Matt Riddle. They called it Limitless Bros. I believe Tyler Bate got the pin over Keith Lee after Tyler Driver, and then I think he might have even tapped him. I think he might have tapped him as well. Decent match, 3.5 out of 5. Decent match. Then there's the women's match. I'm not gonna lie, I went to get food because me and my brother hadn't really ate all day, so I went to get burgers and looked at merchandise during this match, so I can't give this any rating. So no rating out of 5. Not 0, by the way, because I can't give a rating, so I'm being fair, so no rating. For Miko Satomura versus Jordan Grace. I believe Satomura won that match, but as I said, I can't comment on it because I went to get food. The burgers there were nice, quite expensive, at Alexandra Palace. That's where the event was held, Ali Pali. And the cheesy chips were exquisite. And yes, I was having a bit of a cheat meal, allow me guys. I am still trying to get in shape for my upcoming MMA battle next year. But yeah, really like the cheesy chips. Came back after that. I'm trying to think, was it straight into the Proteus battle? I think it was straight into Proteus Royal Rumble. I'm not even going to be able to mention everything that happened in the Proteus Royal Rumble, but there's 30 men and women. It was an intergender battle royale, basically WWE's Royal Rumble. So there was a feud with OJMO, who's a new up-and-coming British star. He's in a feud with a evil faction in progress called DNR. That stands for Do Not Resuscitate. It's led by a little guy called Spike Trevay, who's a good talker, a guy called Chop Mambo, who's got loads of charisma, a guy called William Eva Believer, who's got quite a good look, looks like a bit of a sawn off Luke Harper from WWE, and that new guy Duggan who I was talking about, who was getting lots of chance of charisma vacuum, and he's a guy that actually got to the final to face Scotty Davis the night before on Saturday of the Natural Progression series. That all comes into play right at the end. I'll explain to you in a minute. So there's a lot of comedy in this session. Moff Martina, who just got signed by Ring of Honor, was in this, having a dance off. She danced off with this guy called Sugarton Dunk. I haven't heard of him before, but heard of him. He was quite funny. He was a bit like a New Day, I guess. Travis Banks was in there, and he was doing twerking. Jim Cornette would have hated this. I'm not gonna lie to you. Jim Cornette would have hated it. Old school guys would have hated it. But for a bit of comedy, it was funny. This guy that looks like Evil Uno, I can't remember his name, but he's part of the Anti-Fun Police. He's in a tag team with Pete Dunne's brother called No Fun Dunne. So No Fun Dunne and this Evil Uno analog were dancing as well. They were having a lot of fun. Even their name is No Fun and Anti-Fun Police. Chris Roberts, referee, come in right at the end, and I think he's at number 29. He gave everyone Stone Cold Stunners, eliminated Chris Brooks from Calamari Catch Kings. I think Chris Brooks pulled him out over, did he? Something like that. And then Roberts was beating up Chris Brooks afterward. The last one in, I believe, was it William Eva? OJMO did his high spots. Dan Maloney gave a package pole driver to Shakara, who's a female wrestler. 3 female wrestlers, Danny Luna, Millie McKenzie and Charlie Evans, had a standoff with DNR, Chuck Mambo, William Eva and Danny Duggan, I believe. That was cool. Danny Duggan missed a few spots. He was supposed to feed for Big Wavy and he missed his first spot. Big Wavy did some good power moves. OJMO probably stole the show in terms of the match. Him, Ilya Dragunov and Paul Robinson. Paul Robinson and Ilya were 1 and 2. Paul was number 1, Ilya was number 2. Paul Robinson did his staff missile drop kick. Robinson special. I think he did Dragon Screw halfway through. It's hard to watch because there was such a cluster F, because so many different wrestlers were actually in the actual match at one point. But yeah, it was really good. It ended up with OJMO, Ilya Dragunov and Robinson as the faces, and the heels with DNR. DNR managed to get OJMO out, managed to get Ilya Dragunov out, but luckily it was Robinson. DNR Robinson got most of them out. Obviously, OJ helped him. And there's this Duggan, the guy who I mentioned before, who was in the final of the Natural Progression Series against Scotty Davis. Paul Robinson managed to get him out. So Paul Robinson, who used to be in a tag team with Will Ospreay called the Swords of Essex, is your new and first ever Proteus World Champion. I'm very happy about that. I actually said to my brother, I think Proteus will win. My brother actually did say as well, he said, you know what, I think they'll make Danny Duggan last. He'll either be one of the last people in it, or he'll win it, because there'll be obviously heel heat, because everyone knew he was so bad in the match before, well, the night before, and also was known as Charisma Vacuum, and quite boring. He got booed all the time, he botched quite a lot, so that was a really good shout. WWE did something similar when I think it was Roman versus Randy Orton, so you knew Randy Orton would get a pop because he's going to face Roman, and people didn't want Roman to win. You knew Paul Roman was going to get an even bigger pop than he would have otherwise, because he was facing Duggan, and nobody wanted to win, and nobody really likes. In terms of British wrestling scene, it's not great at the moment, but he's young, so you never know, he could improve, so I'm not going to write him off completely. Proteus Rumble was decent. Obviously, it's a Royal Rumble time match out of 5. 3.5 out of match. It's not a technical masterpiece. Obviously, you guys know I'm a fan of Okada, Tanahashi, Tanzin, Parker, Omega, Chima, etc, etc. So obviously it's not going to be that kind of technical match, but it was good for what it was. The comedy spots were funny, even though Jim Cornette would have hated it. Let's go on to the finale. The finale was David Starr versus Volta. It was an okay match for what it lasted, which wasn't very long. Basically, it's a typical David Starr match. By that I mean, he sells for a bit, and he gets on top for a bit. He got one good suplex in, but it wasn't particularly great. This is the third main event I've seen David Starr in this year. I've seen him wrestle obviously quite a few times during the Super Strong 16 tournament, which he won. He actually had a really good match with Jordan Devlin in that, but now I realise that was because Jordan Devlin's had exceptional matches no matter what he's done, including on WWE UK or NXT UK. So basically, David Starr in that match was good, but I saw him alongside my brother at Rev Pro Summer Sizzler against Will Ospreay. It was just loads of shenanigans. My brother said that as well, he goes, "Give me loads of shenanigans," and there was. So in Rev Pro Summer Sizzler, there was ref bumps and Andy Quildan who came in and steel chairs, and I can't remember how it finished, but Ospreay got the win. I think he hit him with something, I can't remember. It was just stupid and shenanigans. This happened again, but this ended up better, I'll tell you why. So what happened was there's a ref bump, and I was like, oh god, Starr's gonna have another shenanigan match, and he did. But luckily, here you go, ref bump happens, you're waiting for another ref to come through, the crowd shouting, we want Roberts, we want Roberts. Out of nowhere, Eddie Dennis comes through. Eddie Dennis, the NXT UK star, the former teacher who became a wrestling tutor. He actually taught my brother, I think, a couple times at least. So my brother knew about him, a few years ago. He is the new Progress World Champion. He won a contract at Hello Wembley almost a year ago, with help from Mark Andrews, Mandrews, and I said there's a guy coming with a balaclava on and with a steel chair. Eddie Dennis goes, I'm using my contract now. It expires in 2 weeks. I'm cashing in right now. This match is now a triple threat. So it is Volta the champion versus David Starr and Eddie Dennis. Out of nowhere, the guy with the balaclava comes in and hits David Starr. Eddie Dennis is still on the mic. He goes, guess what? It's a triple threat. That means it's a no disqualification, which is very factual. W doesn't always talk about that, but it's very factual. Mark Andrews gets a steel chair, bangs David Starr on the back. Eddie Dennis wins. The best part is the promo afterward. He goes, you hipsters, you hipster fans, boo me because I'm making a stable income. You boo us NXT UK wrestlers because we're making a stable income. Well, guess what? I've got no more time for you, no more love for you. I'm going to do what I want when I want. And this is my right-hand man. The guy takes his mask off, and it is Mark Andrews, Mandrews. It was a great. So yeah, the actual main event itself was 1.5 out of 10. Wasn't good. It was typical David Starr match, which sadly isn't overly entertaining to me personally now. After watching 3 different main events, only one of them was good. That was Jordan Devlin one. One against Ospreay was not good. It's just too long and it wasn't for me. Too much shenanigans. This one exactly the same. Volta is exceptional and amazing as always. So based on that, I'll boost it up actually a little bit. So maybe 2.5 out of 5 I'll give this finale. But in general, the show was really good. The Coronel versus Pete Dunne match was exceptional. The Moustache Mountain versus Limitless Bros match was really good. The first triple threat tag match with Grizzled Young veterans Zach Gibson and James Drake versus Scotty Davis, Jordan Devlin, and Aussie Open was really good. And the Proteus Rumble was really funny and entertaining. So in total, I'll give the show a 4.5 out of 5. It would have been a 5, but for the main event, which kind of disappointed me a bit. But apart from that, it was a good show. We'll probably go to Progress again sometime in the future, probably next year. Cheers guys, let me know what you guys think of this review, if you were at Progress or if you weren't. Would you like to see more of these kind of independent wrestling reviews? Let me know. Cheers, guys. Thank you.